How do you know you're being a good substitute teacher? Well, grab your coffee and let's talk. Okay, so you are a substitute teacher and you are just wondering, how do I know that I'm doing a good job? Well, first things first is the students will let you know. And not only will they let you know, they will let their teacher know. And that's one of the best things. And they're obviously like why we are substitute teaching. So it's just one of those things where it could either go really bad or it could go really good. And obviously our days can go really bad or really good. So it's understandable. And when they like you, they will tell their teacher like, hey, like Mrs. Watts was so kind and she even brought us stickers in, or she brought her own book in, and when we had 5 minutes of class, she got to read a really cool book that I never heard of before. I don't know, something along those lines. And that's like awesome to hear. And they'll also tell you, they'll say like, thanks for coming in today, like, or I think you're a cool sub. I really like having you. Can you be our teacher? And so you'll know that way. And if they don't like you, you'll know that they just don't like you. But for that case, I really feel like that's like never the case. I always feel like it's something that, what's my hands doing? I feel like it's something that a lot of the times we are liked by the students. Another thing is when the teachers ask you to come back. So when they ask you to come back, they will say in a text, or an email, if you prefer, one of those, they will say, hey, the students really enjoyed having you, and I really, really liked your sub notes. Can you come in for me for November 5th? And that's another reason how you would know. Another way is how you feel at the end of the day. If you feel like, like you had a day and you're like, today was just horrible. I don't feel good about it at all. And that's all you think about. And you're just like, then, but that doesn't mean that you aren't a good substitute teacher. It was probably a day. But if you consistently have that, then maybe there's another route that you can take. And I have had clients that have told me like, I just don't care. Like, I don't get paid enough for this. I just don't care. The kids don't do their work. They don't listen to me. They don't anything. Like, I'm just here for the money, even though I don't make enough money. Yikes. Like, run the other way. Like, this job isn't for you. We are here for the students, and really just the students. Obviously you're in for the teacher, but no, you're here for the students. And if you're not helping with their education in any way, or just helping them be a decent human being, this job isn't for you. I know it's hard. These kids these days are just wired differently, and sometimes there's no respect at all. But that doesn't mean that you can't try. But if you feel really positive at the end of the day, even if it was a hard day, and you're like, you know what, I felt really good. I feel like I handled the situations correctly, and I did the best that I can, then you are a really good substitute teacher. And if you're wondering if I'm a good substitute teacher, that means that you are a really good substitute teacher. Just letting you know that. It shows that you care. And one last thing that I want to leave you with today is something called the imposter syndrome. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but the imposter syndrome is where in your head, you feel like you're unqualified and you don't have any knowledge of what you're doing. So in this case, if you're standing up there and you're trying to get fifth graders to do their social studies work, but you're doing something out of the curriculum and you're reading them like the questions and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. You just feel like I'm not like qualified for this. Well, you are. I mean, you got the job, you were hired. You might not be, maybe you're not a certified teacher, like directly, and you're just like, what am I doing? You know? And you start to have these feelings that like you're just not good enough. You're never good enough for this job. That's called the imposter syndrome. And I want you to like, if you start to feel that way, nip it in the butt and change the scenario, right? You can say, instead of saying, I can't do this, I'm not qualified for this. Instead say, you know what? Today's a new day and I get to teach these wonderful kids today. And I'm so excited that it gets to be me that gets to touch the lives of these students. You know, switch up your language and what you tell yourself. So you are a very good substitute teacher. And again, it shows that you are a very good substitute teacher. And remember, to know if you're a good sub, the students will let you know. And they will let the teachers know. And they'll obviously let the principal know as well. So I really hope that this helps ease your heart and makes you feel good about yourself. And just know that you are making a difference. It's hard. It's so hard to know if you're making a difference in a child's life, but you really are. So I will see you in the next video.